Cute! Hey there, true believers and anyone who just clicked on this because you saw a cool-looking thumbnail with a red-headed super spy. Welcome to Marvel's Marvels, the channel that digs deeper into the Marvel lore than a Skrull in witness protection. Today, we're peeling back the layers on the one, the only Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow. You think you know her from the movies? That's adorable. We're about to dive into some secrets so juicy, they make the Kree-Skrull War look like a minor disagreement over a parking spot. Crank up that multiverse music. Things are about to get weird, wonderful, and classified. For every iconic pose and perfectly executed takedown, there are a dozen stories lurking in the shadows. Stuff that doesn't make the official S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefings. This isn't your average top 10 listicle. No. We're going on a deep cover mission into the Red Room, into alternate casting universes, into the very soul of the Avenger who proved you don't need a hammer or a fancy suit to be a hero, or, an anti-hero. It gets complicated. So, buckle up, buttercups. We're about to expose the best-kept secrets in the Marvel Universe, all centered around the enigmatic spy who stole our hearts before, let's just say the journey is worth it. We're going to talk about what could have been, who she really is, and why she's arguably the most dangerous Avenger in the room, even when a literal god is standing next to her. Prepare to have your mind blown, or at least mildly impressed. Let's do this. Alright, let's kick this off with a little trip to an alternate reality. A what-if scenario that almost happened. Picture this. Iron Man 2 is gearing up and they need their Black Widow. We all know and love Scarlett Johansson in the role, right? She is Natasha. The hair flips, the fight choreography, the quiet emotional weight she carries. But, and this is a big but, she wasn't the first choice. The role was originally offered to and accepted by Emily Blunt. Yeah, the same Emily Blunt from The Devil Wears Prada. A Quiet Place. Can you even imagine? It's like picturing me playing a Green Lantern. Oh wait, so what happened? Why didn't we get Agent Romanoff with a British accent and a penchant for withering stares? It all came down to a classic Hollywood problem. Scheduling conflicts. Emily was contractually obligated to star in Gulliver's Travels alongside Jack Black. I'm not making that up. That contractual obligation forced her to drop out of the MCU. While she was off dealing with tiny people, the door swung wide open for Scarlett Johansson to step in, dye her hair red, change the entire dynamic of the Avengers. It's one of those sliding doors moments in cinematic history. No disrespect to Emily Blunt, she's phenomenal and would have been great. But Scarlett's portrayal became so definitive, so woven into the fabric of the MCU, that it's impossible to think of anyone else. Let's get something straight right off the bat. Black Widow isn't her name, it's a title, it's a code name. A terrifying designation given to the graduates, a finishing school from hell. And Natasha Romanoff? That's an alias, a convenient Americanized version of her real identity. If you want to get technical, look at her birth certificate, which probably doesn't exist, but if it did, it would read Natalia Alyanovna Romanova. Now say that 3 times fast after a few chimichangas. Natalia Alyanovna Romanova. Natalia Alyanovna Romanova. Natalia Alyanovna Romanova. That name is steeped in Russian history and a past she spent most of her life trying to either run from or atone for. She was born in Stalingrad, a place that knows a thing or two about brutal conflict. From a young age, she was taken, indoctrinated, and molded by the Soviet government's Black Widow program. This wasn't some after-school club. It was a brutal training ground designed to create the world's most perfect spies and assassins. The name Romanova itself is a nod to the Romanov dynasty, the last imperial family of Russia, adding a layer of tragic fallen royalty to her backstory. So when you hear her called Natasha, remember it's a mask. It's the version of herself she presents to her friends, to the Avengers, to the world she's trying to save. Black Widow is the monster in her past, the ghost that haunts her. And Natalia, that's the little girl who was lost, the person she might have been in another life. Let's take a roll call of the original Avengers lineup, shall we? We've got a Norse god who controls lightning, a gamma-radiated green rage monster who can level a city block, a super soldier who's the peak of human perfection, a billionaire in a flying tank. And then there's Natasha. What's her superpower? Well, she doesn't have one, not in the traditional sense anyway. She can't fly, she doesn't have super strength. She can't shoot lasers from any part of her body. Thank God. That would be a weird conversation. What she does have is a skill set so refined, so lethally effective, that it puts her on equal footing with gods and monsters. She's a master of espionage, a world-class martial artist, proficient in more fighting styles than you have socks, an expert marksman, a tactician who can read a battlefield and her opponents with terrifying accuracy. Her superpower is her humanity, honed to a razor's edge. She uses psychology, infiltration, she uses sheer, unapologetic butt-kicking to get the job done. She's the living embodiment of the idea that you don't need powers to be powerful. Think about it. When Loki is monologuing, who gets him to crack and reveal his plan? Natasha. When the Chitauri are swarming New York, who is fighting them street by street with nothing but her wits and her widow's bite bracelets? Natasha. She's the proof in the pudding, the grounded human element that reminds us that courage, intelligence, an unbreakable will are superpowers in their own right. She constantly has to work harder, be smarter, and fight dirtier than everyone else in the room just to stay alive. And that, my friends, is more impressive than any magic hammer. We all know Captain America as the quintessential leader of the Avengers. He gives the rousing speeches he calls the shots he has the language thing down. But what if I told you that in the comics, the person holding the big A card and calling the plays has, on more than one occasion, been Natasha Romanoff? That's right. The spy, the assassin, the one who operates best from the shadows, has stepped up to lead Earth's mightiest heroes. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. Her leadership style is, predictably, very different from Steve Rogers. It's less about inspirational speeches and more about cold, hard strategy. She's a pragmatist, she knows her team's strengths, and more importantly, their weaknesses. She's not afraid to make the tough calls, the morally gray decisions that would make Captain America's shield tarnish. She thinks 10 steps ahead, anticipating threats, manipulating situations to her advantage before the enemy even knows they're in a fight. After events that left the team fractured or without primary leaders, Black Widow took charge. She's led teams featuring Hercules and a new Wasp. She commanded respect not through super soldier serum or cosmic power, but through sheer competence and the fact she often knew what needed to be done when no one else did. The movies only hinted at this, but in the comics, she proved a master spy is perfect to lead unpredictable, superpowered personalities. She knows all their secrets, after all. The Red Room. We've heard it mentioned in the MCU, seen glimpses of its brutality. It sounds like a place you'd go for a nice borscht, but it's actually the most horrifying ballet academy in the world. As part of her training, a young Natalia Romanova was indoctrinated, espionage, combat, but also in the fine arts. Specifically, ballet. This wasn't just to give her a nice hobby for her days off. Discipline, flexibility, core strength, precise, controlled movements were seen as the perfect foundation for a deadly assassin. Every graceful takedown, every impossible acrobatic flip, every time she moves like a phantom through a firefight, that's the ballet training. They broke her down and rebuilt her, turning her body into a weapon. The dance was a cover, a way to explain her travels and her physical prowess to the outside world. But more than that, it was a form of psychological conditioning. The relentless pursuit of perfection in dance was mirrored in her training as a killer. There was no room for error, no space for emotion, just flawless execution. Pirouette, silent kill. This dual training is what makes her so unique. She has the soul of an artist trapped in the body of a killer. Every great partnership in the MCU has its own flavor. You've got the Science Bros, the Super Soldiers, the Talking Tree, the Raccoon, and then you have Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff, Hawkeye, and Black Widow. Their relationship is one of the deepest and most complex in the entire saga, and it's built on a foundation of red, specifically the red in her ledger. As Clint himself said, he was sent to kill her, but he made a different call. That single decision changed the course of both their lives and the MCU itself. Their bond isn't romantic, not in the traditional sense. It's something deeper, more profound. It's a foxhole friendship, forged in the fires of espionage, black ops, and near-death experiences in places like Budapest that we still don't have all the details on. They are each other's anchor. For Natasha, Clint and his family represent the life she could never have, but desperately wants to protect. He was the one who saw the person underneath the assassin and gave her a second chance, a path to redemption. He trusted her when no one else would. For Clint, Natasha is his mirror, his closest confidant who understands the darkness they've both waded through. They can communicate with a single look, they know each other's moves in a fight without even thinking, and they are willing to sacrifice anything for one another. Their conversation on Vormir is the heartbreaking culmination of this entire journey. It wasn't a fight over who gets to die. It was an argument between two people who love each other so much that they both believe the other deserved to live more. If you think your job is stressful, try being Natasha Romanoff for a day. Her entire career is a masterclass in playing for both sides of the fence. She wasn't just a Russian spy who defected. Her life has been a constant, dizzying dance of shifting allegiances and hidden agendas. She was created by the KGB, molded into their perfect weapon, and sent to infiltrate the West. Her primary mission for a long time was to gather intelligence on, and if possible, sabotage American interests, including S.H.I.E.L.D. and Tony Stark. Her defection to S.H.I.E.L.D. thanks to Hawkeye wasn't a clean break. For a spy of her caliber, trust isn't something that's easily given or earned. Nick Fury, being the paranoid spymaster he is, undoubtedly used her unique position. He likely had her maintain certain contacts, feeding disinformation back to her former masters. She was S.H.I.E.L.D.'s ultimate asset because she knew the enemy's playbook inside and out. She was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, and the board spanned the entire globe. This history is why she was so effective, but also why she was so haunted. Every mission was a tightrope walk. Who was she really loyal to? In the beginning, it was probably herself, but as she became part of the Avengers, her loyalty shifted to her new family. When S.H.I.E.L.D. was revealed to be infiltrated by Hydra, she was the one who decided to dump all of their secrets, including her own, onto the internet. It was a final, cathartic act of burning down the whole shadowy system she had been a part of for so long, choosing transparency over the life of a spy. She was a double agent who ultimately chose to be a hero. And there you have it, a look into the classified files of Natalia Alyanovna Romanova. From almost being played by a different actress to leading the Avengers herself, her story is so much richer and more complex than just a few cool fight scenes. She was the heart of the team in many ways, the one who grounded them and was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to bring everyone back. You don't need superpowers to change the world. You need an unbreakable will and a whole lot of red in your ledger that you're desperate to wipe clean. She was a spy, an assassin, a hero, an avenger. So what do you think? Did we uncover any secrets you hadn't heard before? Or are you a super fan who already has a tattoo of the Red Room's floor plan? We want to know. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that big shiny like button. Obliterate that subscribe button with the force of a Hulk smash. Ring that little notification bell so you never miss a mission with us. Now it's your turn. Head down to the comments section and let us know if there are any other obscure facts, mind-blowing facts, just plain weird facts about Black Widow that we missed. Did she have a weird pet in the comics? Did she once team up with Archie? Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. We love hearing from you guys and building this community of Marvel fanatics. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next reality.